Good evening, friends and neighbors, and thank you for joining us on episode 7 of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We're here at our secret underground recording studio near an area formerly known as Happy Land Park. And of course, we have producer Graham watching the front door. And as always, we have the man who inspired the song Return of the Mac. Benny, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. We got a big dump of snow, so cleaned a lot of snow over the weekend. So that wasn't fun, but otherwise it was a good week. How about yourself?
Good. I had a good weekend. I played in a poker tournament.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I played in a poker tournament. Well, I don't play poker well.
Yeah.
It was at the St. James Legion, and it was in support of muscular dystrophy with some Winnipeg firefighters. So it was an actual pleasure to be there. We were there with the number one Doll fan, and I got the tickets care of Pac-Man. I got by the first break without having to buy in again, which is great. But it was all done after that, bro. You know me, concentration hour. Then I'm done. I got some salad in me, and I was done. But never mind me failing at poker. Let's get into some action. We have lots to talk about. We have some amazing guests joining us from Edmonton with the Backyard Basketball Podcast. They're here to share some of their wisdom and information on the NBA season, the Raptors, Ben Simmons, and we got a podcast versus podcast competition coming up. So stay tuned for that. We have the NFL to talk about, all the upsets, all the craziness going on there, the coaches on the hot seats, and we're in the last week of the regular season of the CFL, and we have Team Canada playing another qualifying game in Edmonton in the snow against Mexico. And we got much, much more. But first, let's start off with our Winnipeg Jets, who are currently playing our loved rival, the Edmonton Oilers. First intermission, 1-0. Jets are up. Let's look at how our boys did. I shouldn't be this biased, eh? Let's see. Let's talk about how the Winnipeg Jets did over the past week and how the next week is looking. Well, what are your thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets, my friend?
Big game tonight with the Oilers. Tonight and Thursday night, a little back-to-back. So Jets up 1-0, like you said, so hopefully they can keep it going. They scored that first goal was a beauty there on Koskinen. Beauty if you're a Jets fan, not if you're an Oilers fan, though. So it was a good week for the Jets. They started off. I think when we were recording last week, they ended up losing to the Blues last week in a shootout. Unfortunate, they played a pretty good game in that one until overtime, and then St. Louis just took over, and then unfortunately the Jets couldn't score in a shootout. So but they followed that up with wins over the Sharks, 4-1 over the Sharks. They finally were able to beat the Sharks after 2 losses to start the season, which were kind of frustrating. So but nice to see some goals, from Schmidt and Jansen Harkins as well in that game. So get some secondary scoring going, helping out the top line.
Yeah.
And then they finished it off with a big 3-2 comeback win in OT against the Kings. Scheifele scored a beauty in OT on a nice setup for Mueller. So good for him to finally get his first goal of the year, which is kind of odd.
Yeah. And how about DeMello with his first goal of the year?
Yes.
He was having a bit of a tough time.
First goal is a Jet, actually, too.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I had no idea. First goal is a Jet. It was a timely one, shorthanded. And he wasn't having the best game earlier on with those 2 goals. But, he delivered when he had to. And the Jets got some points. They got a win. So they are looking good. Going into this week, they have a pretty tough rivalry going on. Tuesday, Thursday, back-to-backs, like we said, in Winnipeg right now, 1-0. Then they go to Edmonton to play. And it looks like Paul Maurice is kind of playing around with the lineups. And I know how much you love to talk about Paul Maurice and his lineup combinations. And, I'm a little concerned with Wheeler being on the line with Dubois rather than Svechnikov there. But early in the season, so I'm willing to give it a shot. What are your thoughts on this coming up week and maybe Paul Maurice and his lineup choices?
Paul Maurice is having a tough time because he's old. He's easily or not slowly itching that line of Connor, Scheifele, and Wheeler back together again.
Yeah.
It's probably bothering him that it's taken him this long to figure out a way to get there. But I agree. I like the way Svechnikov was playing with PLD and Connor. So I would have liked to see them get a couple more games together at least and see where they can go. But we'll see what Wheeler can do up there. Wheeler's a little snake bit to start this season. So I get it. You kind of want to get him going. So excited to see how Kopp, Scheifele, and Ehlers do together. And And that's another thing. Hopefully he gives these lines enough time to kind of gel and pick up and get some goals or play hard together. Usually he gives them like 2 periods and then he's back to his old ways of, his top line there and all that stuff. So, but like you said, big game against the Oilers. You got to stay out of the penalty box, especially against these guys. They're number one in the NHL, while the Jets are 30th penalty kill. So you definitely don't want to give McDavid too many chances there. So we'll see how these refs do over the next 2 games. Considering McDavid gets held a lot and stuff. So
yeah.
So,
but go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
sorry.
I was just gonna say it'd be good to see in this next game stretch if Wheeler can get a goal or get it going really, and get a goal. So we'll see. They got 2 easier games after these against Vancouver and Pittsburgh, who both actually look atrocious.
Oh, so Vancouver is horrible.
It's weird seeing the Penguins struggle so much so far this year too. So but it should be 2 easy wins, I would say, for the Jets.
And didn't Vancouver put some chips in this year? They thought this is the year that they're going to take a step forward, and they look absolutely horrible. Possibly a coaching change already.
They signed Tucker Pullman, to
gosh,
that lovely contract.
Yeah, we don't miss him. And we talked early on. We talked about a couple of things. First, you reminded me that Stas's not playing, so they're a reason to kind of shuffle the line, see what works, and also we talked about Wheeler and him and his minutes. He started off playing 20 minutes or so. Now he's down to 17. Do you think that he will get the bump up? Do you think that the progression will be Wheeler will get to the front line, or do you think Paul Maurice is kind of playing it slow and seeing where the chemistry is?
Yeah, maybe he's still letting Wheeler ease back in after coming back from COVID and giving him a chance to build up back maybe to those 20 minutes a game, because it's interesting. Usually if Wheeler's out, Wheeler usually goes right back on the top line, or Wheeler starts getting, those 20 minutes in a couple games after coming back from injury. So maybe he is easing it, or he's realizing that, hey, Wheeler can't play a whole season of 20 minutes a game and then still be fresh for the playoffs. So maybe they're both finally realizing that, and, scale down his minutes, let him play 16 to 17 minutes a game, so that come playoffs, he's still got that juice left in the tank.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I forgot. We also talked about Comrie. Mike Comrie going into the series in the weekend. There's back-to-backs. Should he get some time, do you think? Or is Hellebuck still in the process of getting his legs back, especially after the break he had with having his baby?
Yeah, no, I would expect Comrie to get a start there against the Canucks. On the back end of the back-to-back against the Oilers and the Canucks. I don't see him starting Thursday at all. So, I would see him getting that Canucks game at least, give Helly a little bit of a break here, because he'll be playing multiple games in a row.
Yeah. And just a report, we're in the second period, 18-15 left. Edmonton just got a penalty. Winnipeg's going on the power play, so let's see if they can bank one in there. We've been talking about Canadian teams, Edmonton, horrible Vancouver, Winnipeg, of course. Let's just go into the Canadian team power rankings. Top to bottom?
No, let's go bottom to top.
This time I had to be ready for top to bottom. That's okay. I can scroll down.
Let's start with the bad and end off with the good.
Okay, yeah. Who do you got at the bottom of the barrel, brother?
This was a tough one. Just kidding. It wasn't that tough at all. The Ottawa Senators, who've won 1 game in their last 8, and now dealing with 10 players out at least for COVID. So, they get a bit of a break. The next 3 games are postponed. So if I was them, I'd ask the NHL to postpone more games though. But so they're definitely at the bottom there.
I'm with you. I have Ottawa at 8. Who do you got at 7?
Number 6 is the
6. Sorry, 6. Thank you.
The Montreal Canadiens, who've lost 5 of their last 6. 2 of those in OT at least, but still have not been able to play any better than they did at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I have Montreal there as well. Notes, no potential, no depth. Who do you have next?
Yeah. Well, after Montreal. This is the highest Vancouver will probably ever get, so I'm going with Vancouver next. Again, another team that's lost now 4 in a row. They're like all 3 of those teams are the bottom 6 of the NHL. Yeah, that's how bad they are. So yeah, I don't think Green has much longer to go there in Vancouver.
I have Vancouver there as well. 2 wins in the last 10 games. Come on, man. That's yuck. That's yuck. Yeah. Who do you got after Vancouver?
I'm gonna go with the Flames, the Calgary Flames. Only they had a strong start. but the last they've had losses to the Sharks, Montreal, overtime loss to Toronto, and the only team they've beaten the last 4 are the Ottawa Senators. So that's why I'm putting them at 4.
Okay. I got Toronto there at number 4, and I'm never going to go into depth with Toronto. It's always going to be the same quote until they change my mind. They are who we thought they were. Who do you have? Well, I want to see who you have next after this one. Who do you got?
This is why it's another painful one again to do this way, but I do have the Jets at number 3 right now. Yes, they looked good over the last little bit, 8-3-3 record, but they've had to battle some of these lower end teams to get wins, or the teams that we didn't expect to be good. So I got them at 3 right now.
I got Calgary there. I got Calgary at 3. It was kind of a toss up to me. I look at Winnipeg's schedule, what they went through, what they're going through. I'll just say I got them at number 2, so I have Calgary at 3. It was splitting hairs, to be honest with you. Splitting hairs. Calgary at 3, Winnipeg at 2. Who do you got 2?
Well, then I got Toronto at number 2. Just because one loss in the last 9. That's been pretty big. So they've had a good couple weeks to take that number 2 spot. And I guess their number 1's the same.
It has to be at this point of the season. That monster duo up front, and their power play, not looking too good right now, but I have them at 1. How can you not have Edmonton at 1?
Yeah, Edmonton at 1. The funny thing is their last 2 losses were against the Wings and the Sabres.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
How do you lose to those 2 teams? I know the Wings are having a good start and Sabres were having a good start, but of all that, you go out and beat the Bruins and the Blues, and then you lose to those other 2 teams.
Yeah, totally. Let's move on and talk about some NBA basketball. We have not breached the NBA, and to that, we're going to bring in some experts. We're going to bring in some friends from Edmonton with the Backyard Basketball Post. We got Kristian. We got Braydon. How y'all doing?
Woo! Excellent, man. Excellent. Glad to be here. There's some enthusiasm in this. Yeah, I'm ready.
Some energy, man. That's what I like to hear. We're not going to hold anything against you. Y'all are in Edmonton. That's okay. We know. There's a little
get out of here.
There's a little bit of rivalry. I understand. We swept y'all in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, we got a revenge week here. Yeah, that's right.
That was a great play.
It was very nice. It was surprising, but yes, it is.
Until the second round.
It is revenge. It is revenge week. We have Edmonton and the Jets playing back-to-back right now, with actually in the first period. 6:10 left. Winnipeg's up 1-0. I'll leave it at
okay. I'm not recording it or anything.
You said you knew the 1-0, bro. And I said I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to play with you no more. Don't worry. It's all good.
It's okay. I won't predict what's going to happen at the end of the game.
We'll see.
We're going to win.
Oh, wow. Y'all need to relax.
You heard it here first.
Nice.
We're coming in hot. We have to this year. That's what Edmonton's all about. We need that air horn to go off right after this.
You hearing this, Benny? We're just starting. We are here for a basketball segment. Listen to this. We
got the better hockey team. Are we pivoting? Are we talking Connor McDavid? Because
let's go basketball. Let's go basketball. No, we'll have to bring in. No. There's another podcast, Hat Trick, that y'all should tune into as well. And we should hook up and talk some Edmonton Oilers and Winnipeg Jets rivalry, because that's a deep rivalry. But let's talk NBA. We have you here for NBA.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so we like following the Raptors over here, kind of thing. They've gone young, got rid of some old veterans like Lowry and obviously a few other guys. So what's your guys' thoughts so far on the Raptors so far this season, and kind of their outlook for the rest of the year?
Where you want to start? Do I want to start with the Raptors? I always want to start with the Raptors.
You always start with the Raptors.
Honestly, you guys, I'm a bit surprised that they're doing as well as they are right now, winning games. I knew that they were gonna be a young, exciting team. I was really big on Scotty Barnes. I know everybody they were kind of caught off guard that Jalen Suggs didn't go to Toronto. Scotty Barnes is a freak athlete, and so to put him up with OG Anunoby, the emergence of Gary Trent Jr., Pascal's having he just got back. There's a lot to be really excited about with this Toronto Raptors team, and they're not. It's hard to say. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, but they're going to show up. They're going to show up to a lot of games. They're going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah. I saw this interesting article actually later this afternoon. I was having a guy come in and look at my furnace. So I was just perusing on the sports webs, and this thing came up about, as you do, and this thing came up on the Raps. Long nonsensical story about the Raptors is the only team in the NBA right now that's got 5 players that are averaging 16 and plus points per game.
Dang.
So when you talk about versatility amongst every member contributing on a team, I don't think there's anybody that could really show the template of that in the league, in my opinion, than say the Raptors. Not saying that, they're one of the premier better teams to keep an eye for, but that cohesiveness amongst all 5 units. And the unique thing about the Raptors that I feel is the versatility, and it just seems like, Nick Nurse has this idea in mind this season where we're just going to switch on guys constantly, and we're going to play high risk on switches. And that means there's going to be times where we're going to be caught with our pants down, but it doesn't matter because we have all this youth and versatility. Let's exploit this opportunity that we have at hand. And this is totally like Masai's, design and engineering. I don't know. I don't want to get back on this, but I was talking with Bray on our podcast a couple of weeks back, and that guy, the executive of Rogers or whatever, whole story of him and the back and forth banter and high school drama. And nonetheless, there was this whole story that came out that he was the one that was saying all this negative stuff to Masai Ujiri, not wanting to give him the money that he was owed, and thinking that, I forget what the young guy that's there as well.
Bobby Webster.
Bobby Webster. Oh, Bobby Webster can handle it all. And obviously not, this would not be Bobby Webster's decisions to come up with some of the choices that have led to the team, trading Norman Powell for Gary Trent Jr., going young, having then that space so you can bring in a Scotty Barnes and have him attack the paint.
But also to pull off the haul that the sign and trade with with Lowry. Precious Achiuwa and I mean, I don't think Goran Dragic is going to stay. His contract it's not something that they want to keep on the books, but to pull off that kind of the move it's hard to lose Kyle Lowry, but the team has to move on and getting younger and getting stronger. That's where the culture's still there. The We the North is still there.
Yes.
And that's all Masai, so to be able to keep that consistency, like you're saying there, Chris. Yeah, really awesome. Really, really awesome.
That, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you don't want this team to do too well with the talent, and it's almost the enthusiasm that they have goes over the top and wins a few too many games. A little sus as a Raptors fan being like, hey guys, I don't want you to win a bunch, but we all get it. If you have that opportunity this season to get a higher draft pick, then you really set yourself up for the next few years as a team. So
and I think they're actually pretty close. They have that young core, to be honest with you. In a couple of years, they'll be because it's hard to bring free agents to Toronto, but they might be in a position to bring in a 1-year guy like they did with Kawhi and go for that chip. Yeah. So I think they're close. I agree with y'all with that young team. And you mentioned drama with the Rogers executive and you signed a jury. How about the drama in Philadelphia that's still going with Ben Simmons? How is that situation to resolve itself?
We've got
it's smooth, bro. I went to theater. I studied theater,
you studied theater, brother. A good transition.
I'm learning some stuff here. All right.
So here's the thing with Ben Simmons. We've got this thing on our podcast now where we can't have an episode without mentioning this guy's name. So I'm gonna pass it off right now to Chris because Chris loves talking about this guy.
Yeah, give me some info on Ben Simmons.
You know what? This is honestly the best info that I have of Ben Simmons. And this was information I gathered today. So there was a fan, in Philadelphia. He's calling in the morning show, local news station or a radio station in Philly. So he's calling in, picks up the phone. They're like, hey, you called in. How you doing this morning? He's like, man, somebody just hit me. And they're like, whoa, what? What happened? He's like, yeah, now he's driving away. He just rear-ended him or something. And they're all like, this just happened this morning. And they're all talking to this fan being like, I don't know if this is legitimately happened or not, but they're all talking to him on the radio show and they're saying like, well, aren't you worried about this guy? You should go chase after him, get his license plate. Don't worry. We have lawyers, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nah, I want to talk about Ben Simmons. And they're like, why do you want to talk about Ben Simmons? And he brings up this one point. I had to quote this. He says, James replied, because he annoys me more than someone hitting my car and driving off. So if that's a sentiment that doesn't tell you what's happening in Philadelphia with Ben Simmons right now, I don't know what else to say. I really don't.
Yeah, Benny's a fan or former fan of the Philadelphia Flyers, so he knows the passion of that city and their fans. You think he can go back there, Benny, with the attitude that the fans have in Philly?
No chance. Not in Philly. They don't forget very easily out there. So
no. So I think they got to get rid of him. That's the only way it's got to end. They need to move on. And they got to get what you can. Get what you can. What do you say, Braydon?
Well, I say Daryl Morey's been through this before with James Harden. He I think he's learned from that situation, and that he's not just going to flip him for anything. He's not going to just relieve the situation. This guy is a serious asset for this team. So if they can't pull off something to actually make the team better, then they're just going to hold out and they're going to continue to fine him for the time that he's not with the team. I think it's ridiculous though that he is. I mean, it's a catch here, because you've got a guy who's stating that he's not mentally well or mentally ready or able to play, which you do have to take seriously to some degree. But then there's also this part where you are a paid employee of this organization, and you need to be able to show up to work and do the job that you're required to do. So if you're stating that you're unwell or unable to play, then here are the resources, and Philly has offered the resources to him, and he's the other thing here too is Rich Paul. Rich Paul is his agent, and I think Rich Paul is making the situation a lot more difficult.
Without a doubt.
He's putting him in this position a little bit, I think. And, I think, Chris, wasn't it you who had mentioned, or maybe it was Elliot on Hat Trick, that Doc Rivers also kind of made this really, really difficult for Ben Simmons at the end of the playoffs last year, saying, whatever he said about the play style and how he wasn't able to shoot. And it's just a bad storm. It's a really, really bad situation that he's in right now. I don't know how. I mean, I'm with you guys. I think the only way that this settles is either he gets traded or he retires or goes and plays in China, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think they got to bite the bullet. They got to bite the bullet at this point. Let's do a podcast versus podcast challenge here.
All right.
Yeah, our podcast. We're gonna pick 4 teams of the final 4, semifinals and finals.
Y'all gonna
pick 4, and you're
Winnipeg accent here.
And we're gonna visit this, the accent of winning, and we're gonna visit this again at the end of the year, and then we'll have a little bit here, a nice little podcast post, and we'll show some love. So, Benny, who do you got for our final 4, our NBA final, and our NBA champion?
All right. Starting with the East, I guess we got the Nets versus the Bulls.
Okay.
Going over to the West, Warriors versus the Suns.
Warriors, Lakers.
And then, sorry.
I wrote it down wrong.
Warriors versus the Lakers. Wrote down the wrong thing.
My bad.
Warriors, Lakers, not the Suns. I forgot we had
the Lakers. Did you say the Lakers or did you say the Lackers?
Lakers.
Because they're lacking a lot right now.
They're lacking LeBron. It's early. Exactly. It's early. Early.
Yeah, a lot of injuries there.
It's early for that retirement home team.
Yeah, they're pretty old, right?
Who we got in that championship, bro?
In that championships, though, we don't have the Lackers going any further. So the Nets versus the Warriors, and then with the Nets taking it all.
There we go. That's Ray and Benny prediction for NBA. What do you got there on Backyard Basketball?
Is that Kyrie's on Brooklyn?
That doesn't matter, Kyrie. That doesn't matter, Kyrie.
So you're saying Brooklyn even without Kyrie?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
we're going.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not scared. We ain't scared.
Wow. Okay. You're taking a shot. You're taking a shot at the Nets.
We didn't cohesively.
A shot that Kyrie will never take.
He's been practicing that for months. So we at Backyard Basketball haven't cohesively discussed this yet. I'm just gonna. You know what, Bray? How about I throw out the East, you throw out the West.
All right.
Ooh.
And if we like really disagree, then okay. So for the East, I'm going to say Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee's going to take it.
Yep.
Over Brooklyn.
All right.
Yeah. And what do you got out of the West, Bray?
Well, I came prepared, and I'm like
he's thinking hard like the Lackers.
I'm liking the Warriors. I think that I think that they're going to return to dominance. Chris doesn't want me to pick the Blazers. I'm a big fan of Dame, and I think he's got a lot to prove this year.
All right.
Chris, who do you think? You think the Phoenix Suns, or is Luka going to show why he's the MVP this season?
I wish. I think, well, I don't know if Luka's even going to get MVP this year. I hope so, but no, I think it's the Suns. I think it's Warriors Suns.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And Warriors Bucks in the finals.
Warriors Bucks finals, and who's going to be champion?
I'm going to pick Bucks. I'm personally going to pick Bucks. I believe in Giannis. I believe in Giannis. I think he's the best. I think he's the best player in the league right now.
I didn't get to consult on this, but I'm going to go down with my buddy here.
You're going to go down with him. You're going to go down with him.
I'm going to have to. Yeah, I'm going to have to. All right. Fear the deer for the second time.
We're going to revisit this in springtime and see how this podcast ended up. Thank you guys so much for bringing your NBA expertise and all your energy to the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks
and
so
we hope to do this again.
Thanks for coming out.
Of course. And
so
folks
much,
out there, don't forget to check out Backyard Basketball Podcast. You can get them on all your major podcast providers. And thank you again for joining us.
Much love.
All right, much love to y'all in Edmonton.
See you guys.
Go Canada, go.
You meant go Oilers, right?
No.
And that's still recording. I hope that came in.
All right, let's move on to some National Football League talk. Bro, I'm done doing predictions. Doing predictions. I get them all wrong. I don't understand what's happening in the NFL. I don't understand all the upsets and unpredictability. Thursday, Miami beat Baltimore. Yeah. Are you kidding me? And don't get me started on those Thursday games, bro. I hate those things. I hate those
things. They've been pretty good this year.
Guys on 3 days rest though. Like
it is tough.
I'll stop now. Stop now. Let's talk about the upsets and unpredictability. What are your thoughts on that? Weird NFL year, no?
Yeah, it's been an interesting season so far. We've done multiple. This team's the team to beat now, and they get destroyed the next week. Maybe the Titans. Actually, we said last week they were the team now, and they didn't actually lose this week. So,
yay!
So that's pretty good. But just when you think you've got it figured out, and okay, these are the teams that are going to move on to the playoffs. These are the teams that look like they actually have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Sunday comes, and it's all gone, chucked out the window, right? You just go back to last night. Who expected the Niners to upset the Rams, and not only upset them, stomp them on Monday Night Football, right?
Yeah, that was fun to watch. As
a Niners fan, it was fantastic.
As an OBJ not fan, it was also fantastic. Deebo Samuel, holy cow.
Yeah, he put that team on his back, and he just carried them over there. Just the physicality that he has in every hit. He didn't go down easy. He didn't go down. He let them hit him, and he hit right back.
He's a fun guy to watch. Yeah. Another upset that was mind-blowing to me and kind of exposed Tom Brady was that Washington Tampa Bay game.
Jeez.
Tom Brady had some wishy-washy games last year as well, but this one he really looked, for lack of a better term, old. He was making horrible throws, not making reads. Unfortunately, Chase Young got injured. Washington stud defensive end. But even then, without his pressure, Tom Brady still looked frazzled, and Washington was able to march on that final drive that they had to score a touchdown. It's been an unbelievable week. Yeah, unbelievable season.
That was crazy. Like you say, that last touchdown drive by the Washington football team. You thought, okay, Tom's going to get the ball back. Tampa Bay's D is going to stop them and give Tom a chance and probably end up winning the game. But Washington just took it down their throat, pounded the ball when they needed to.
Yes.
Taylor Heineke, he loves playing the Bucks. His 2 best games of his career were last year in the playoffs against the Bucks, and this year so far. So
and that's not bad. Not bad. I texted you when I was watching that game. I'm like, you know what, Washington, unless you have like a generational quarterback, like Trevor Lawrence, don't be reaching for quarterbacks. Just build around this guy until you find someone better or get a free agent to sign, which no free agents want to go to Washington anyways. But I was actually blown away. I could not turn away from that game.
Yeah.
And I don't know when's the last time I said that about a Washington football team game. Any other games that kind of like, you're like, what is going on? Yeah. There were a couple still.
Yeah, well, this one, it wasn't totally an upset, but it was, it was a thrashing. So are the Chiefs back? Like are they ready to play?
Oh gosh,
you thought the Raiders were having we thought the Raiders were having a decent season, and then they go out Sunday Night Football and they get stomped like that by the Chiefs. So that shocked me a little bit. I thought it'd be a lot closer game. But yeah, Mahomes went out there and was the old Mahomes. But is that enough to say they're back, or next week are they going to struggle again?
Yeah, that's the thing with some of these top teams too. Even Baltimore, the Chiefs, Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
they've just been. I don't know if they're being surprised or I can't explain it. Even watching the Panthers, they have a great defense. Yes, in Carolina. Yeah. What a story with Cam Newton. I'm not going to fall into the Cinderella la la la. Let's calm down, friends and neighbors. It's his first game, but that game was quite a surprise too.
Yeah, it was quite the beatdown. A couple quick turnovers by the Carolina D. They got them into scoring position right away. Cam ran one in, So yeah, it was quite shocking display considering that the Niners, or the Cardinals thrashed the Niners last week with Colt McCoy. And then this league, they look like a junior V8 team or whatever. Like they couldn't get anything going against Carolina of all teams, and couldn't stop them. So yeah, that was another crazy victory.
Yeah, maybe that was a wake up call for that 49ers D. They're like, what the heck just happened? Yeah. We got played by Colt McCoy. Let's wake up.
Yeah. God.
And I think Cardinals, it's obvious. We knew that they need Kyler Murray, but they need Kyler Murray. They he's
and Hopkins. They need Hopkins too.
Yeah,
Kyler without Hopkins, even for a bit of that one game, was not good. So
exactly, and their defense is not strong enough to hold that team at all. We talked about Cam Newton, the return of Cam Newton, first throw TD, first touch of the ball TD. What are your thoughts on Cam Newton?
Yeah, it was good to see him back in the league there. I didn't expect him to really do much this Sunday. I was kind of shocked when they put him in there, inside the 5. And then when you see him running it in, you're like, oh wow, way to start your career back in Carolina. What a way to start that back again. And then his next one, he threw a TD, and you're like, oh. So he didn't do much. Like he didn't play a lot of the game, but when he came in, he made the plays. So hey, it sparked Carolina. They went out and beat what were they 8-1 Cardinals, right?
Yeah,
and who had been looking pretty good. Their only loss came against the Packers. So, but yeah, Carolina was good. Christian McCaffrey came in, carried the ball a lot, caught a lot of passes. I think he caught 10 balls. And Arizona didn't have an answer for stopping him. So, but yeah, it's good to see Cam back. And the way things go this week, he may end up actually starting this Sunday. So, it'll be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah, that's the word. I don't know if he should be the automatic starter. To be honest with you, not between you and I and all the listeners,
just between us
on the podcast. But why doesn't he play a role like Chris Streveler did in Winnipeg? Bring him short yardage,
Taysom
goal
Hill
line.
Yeah,
exactly. Rather than here's part of the playbook. Let's see what you can do against Washington and your former head coach. Ron Rivera.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, right? That's coming up.
It will be a good matchup. Ron could have had him. Yeah. He has Tyler, bro.
Yeah. And he had Fitzmagic, so.
Oh gosh.
But he didn't get to play too long with him.
Let's talk to a player that I don't feel has much magic behind him, and Odell Beckham Jr. This guy made such a fuss getting out of Cleveland. His dad had a video, lottie-dottie. Do you think this is a telling sign of what's to come with the Rams, or is just this first game jitters with Odell Beckham Jr.?
I heard he actually called his agent. They asked the Rams to cut him so he could go sign with the Packers.
Oh gosh!
Just kidding.
Imagine.
There's a picture of Odell standing kind of behind Stafford, but looking at Stafford, and in it says, "Bro, I thought you were better than Baker." So pretty funny considering he just left at Baker, and then Stafford goes out and craps himself last night. So
yeah,
I still think it's a good move for the Rams. Especially with them losing Robert Woods, I think it'll turn out that he'll fill in pretty good there. I don't know if he'll be the number 2, but if he can get back to playing even a little bit of his old way, he can definitely help that team. But you know what? Last night he played a little bit, couple catches, was used on a decoy actually for a long catch by Cooper Kupp. But he didn't end up playing much because the Rams got behind. They had to go to the hurry up, and of course Odell doesn't know much of that. But we'll see.
Yeah,
he's got to have a strong playoff or rest of the season in playoff. Otherwise, next year, what is he signing for? It probably won't be too much. I can't see teams going crazy for him, especially after his last few years.
Yeah, and stat wise, he wasn't effective at all. But I think we saw a glimpse of what he does, of what he can open the field with when Matt Stafford punted the ball and Ward caught it there. Like inside the 5. He took bracket coverage way downfield. There's 2 guys there, and the whole bottom of the field was open. So I agree with you. There is some benefit to having OBJ, as much hate as I've thrown on the guy for the past couple of weeks. He's an amazing athlete. And yes, like you said, with Robert Woods being injured and gone for the season, it's a timely pickup for the LA Rams. You sent me a meme earlier about Shanahan owning McVay, and I sent you a meme about Shanahan writing McVay off as dependent, and those guys are cool with their coaching gigs. But what about the coaches that are on the hot seat? We're more than halfway through the season now. Who's in danger of losing their jobs?
I won't say he was or anything at all, but speaking of Shanahan and McVay, Shanahan was getting roasted for the last week by media, by fans, wondering, is he actually the genius that he's been made out to be? And should the Niners move on? So had they have lost last night or didn't play the way they would have, I might have thought, okay, maybe Kyle is close to that. But and it's not really his coaching only. It's, it's the player moves and the draft picks. But like you say, every time he needs a pick-me-up, if he gets to play the Rams and McVay, he's all in on that. 5 in a row against the Rams. So, but yeah, he's definitely not on the hot seat. Urban Meyer, he could be one of them that's up there for me. But for me, I think I want to see what else he can do and give him a little bit more time and roll into next season and see if he can actually become an NFL coach. He's actually done not too bad for the most part. I know they've been terrible in some games, but they've actually competed hard in the last few. So, there's, for me, it's a lot of maybes. Matt Nagy, the Bears are 3-6. I think we've been over this guy a few times.
Yes.
You're probably better off cutting ties with this guy now and let someone else come in and coach Fields before Nagy gets another year of Fields and then makes it even worse, right?
Yeah.
I can see the Giants clearing the house with Joe Judge and Gettleman, cleaning them all out together at the end of the season because Gettleman's been terrible since he's been there, and you're not going to keep Judge around with another GM. So those and Vic Fangio, he's probably another one that I could see. He's definitely on the hot seat and being gone probably by the end of this year.
Yeah, you covered the ones that I covered. Matt Nagy has to go. He has to go.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is making him look good right now with with what he's been able to do with his feet rather than within Matt Nagy's system. So he's got to go. Also, Vic Fangio, he just doesn't seem to inspire a team. And Joe Judge, same thing. He seems like he's a spot filler right now until a real coach can be found. And I don't want people to lose their jobs, but bro, these guys have been ineffective. And of course, Urban Meyer.
He's an interesting one.
Jacksonville has been just horrible in making decisions, and this was another one that came in line. Jets scored a goal, by the way. Pierre-Luc Dubois knocked it in the net. Jets are up 2-0 on the Edmonton Oilers. I wish I was there now. I wish I was there, but I'm here with you, brother. I'm happier to be here with you. Did you happen to see the ManningCast guest list, by the way, yesterday? Ain't nobody signed up to go on that thing.
Yeah, we'll see if it affects Draymond, though, right?
Oh, that's right. Imagine if that's the thing. If it stretches into the NBA and he loses, ManningCast for sure is cursed.
Yeah.
We talked with some Edmonton friends in the NBA basketball, and we talked about Team Canada football playing in Edmonton right now. As we speak, they're playing in the snow against Mexico for World Cup qualifiers. But let's talk about the last game and the excitement that we have around Team Canada and their national team pushing to qualify for the World Cup. You must be excited, Benny. You got to be excited.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. I've always waited to see if Canada could do something at soccer. They've gotten me excited in the past that they're going to qualify, and then they crash out. So we'll see. I mean, they still got a lot to go. Like you say, they're playing tonight, still 0-0 between them and Mexico. But yeah, the other night, a big win over Costa Rica. 1-0 win. That was enough. In Edmonton with what was there, almost 50,000 fans. So yeah, it's good to see them doing so well and this young talent coming together, and playing good together, and hopefully they can finish us off. They still got quite a few games here to go, so another half of games still. We're going to carry on into March. So, but if they can take some more points out of Mexico, that'll be huge for them. Especially since being such a young squad, right?
Yeah.
If they can get points out of the Mexico and USA, that's a big boost to their chances.
Yeah, I've never been excited about Canada football ever in my life. Ever in my life. I don't remember the 86 team. I don't know. Why would I remember? They didn't score a goal in the World Cup. Why would I remember that?
They did.
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't.
Not one. But this team and this roster, you mentioned the young talent on here. You got Alphonso Davies, and they're playing on major teams around the world.
Yeah.
Like Premier Euro leagues, the MLS. You got the guy who scored the goal, Jonathan David. He's playing for LOSC, the champions in France. Alphonso Davies, he's playing in Bayern Munich. Steven Victoria, he's playing in MFC in Portugal. Like, this is some major talent. And of course, you got to give props to John Herdman. This guy's been an amazing coach for Canada soccer. What he did with the female program, the women's program,
Yeah.
and what he's doing with the men's program. And it's not like scheme wise, or it's always bringing the team together, because apparently both programs were fractured and cliquish. And he comes in, he's like, you know what? You can't play like this. We play as one or you're out. And it's working.
Yeah.
He's had success on both levels there. So props to the dude. Took a team that was 94th and now they're 48th.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And like you say, he basically built that women's program too, and built it up to what it is today, and helped them, get to winning gold here in the Olympics this past summer. And he's taking this men's team, like you say, 86. That's a long time. Anytime you saw Canada trying to qualify, you thought, they're not making it. My interest is gone, after the first round or something. But today, I mean, like you say, players playing all over the world. When could we have said that before? They're all still pretty young, and it'd be exciting if they can qualify for this World Cup. I do believe next World Cup, because they're hosting, they'll get a free spot into it. But I think, they can go into that tournament saying, hey, we qualified for 2022. So let's now take a next step and see if we can, get out of the group stage or something like that. But they do need to promote these players, and maybe this will give a boost to soccer in Canada, more funding and stuff like that, and get more kids involved and moved further along in soccer, not quitting, when they're 18 or 16 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, and it's easy. Like, we could focus on stories like with the Blackhawks and with Washington and the NHL, but there are great stories like this. I was watching something with Herman Edwards together, and the thing about sports is it brings people together from different classes, different cultures, brings in diversity, and these guys are in the field and they're all equal, and that's what soccer does.
That's the big thing about
sport,
soccer,
I feel,
for sure.
Yeah, different classes, and look at the roster and the last names. Parents, children of immigrants, children of refugees. It's an amazing thing.
You just need soccer
not just
boots.
Sport-wise. Yeah, did you bring your soccer boots, bro?
What?
You
no
gotta
soccer
bring your
boots?
soccer boots.
Yeah.
Talk about Portugal. Props to Coach Delgado. Props to Coach Delgado and soccer boots. So go Canada, go. Go Canada, go.
Yeah. Hopefully they can pull off the victory tonight.
Yeah, they got to take advantage of this cold weather, because when they go like to Mexico and some weird stuff happens when they play, like stadium lights going out, being thrown, urine bags being thrown at them. Oh my goodness, it's our turn now. Throw Slurpees at them. I don't know. Do something.
Well, the snow is our payback.
There we go. Let's talk about the CFL. Last week of the regular season, moving into the playoffs, the Bombers had a tough time on Saturday, a noon game against the Montreal Alouettes, but they're playing, 9 starters are out. All stars were taking a rest for half a game. And poor Sean McGuire, the backup quarterback, getting his first action as a starter, 4 interceptions. It was a tough time, but I don't think it was a reflection of where the Bombers are at. I think we're still in control. Everything's all good. I don't want to say 100%. I'm still gonna knock on wood, but your thoughts on the Bombers this weekend, brother?
Yeah, it just goes to show that if Claus goes down, we're probably in trouble. McGuire's not ready yet. I know they're playing the backups. They're playing backups on the O-line too. But 11 to 26 and 4 INTs. 149 yards is not great, especially for the CFL. No. So I was hoping to see a little bit more out of him, so that he could give you that comfort, thinking, okay, if something happens to Claus, he can come in and not lose the game for us and maybe give us a chance. So other than that, though, not much in this game, it gives me any concern. It's unfortunate that we gave up some points in the fourth quarter. I know with backups or whatever, but it still sucks to give up 11. I wanted to keep them, under double digits would have been crazy. So, Claus is good. Harris is back healthy. I think we're still rolling along here to at least a Grey Cup game. So, congrats to the Claroses, by the way. They ended up having a baby girl today.
Yeah, he didn't have to go to practice. Yeah, he had his baby.
Got to stay a little bit warm.
Day off. Oh my goodness. Going into the last week, there's not many games or any games really, other than the second place Montreal Hammy, who aren't playing each other. They're fighting for home field advantage in that semifinal. Who do you see coming out of that one? Who will be hosting that the Eastern semifinal?
So I guess the Owls still have a chance, right, of hosting that semi. So they got the easier game of the two. They play Ottawa. Hamilton plays Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan could end up resting a lot of guys because their last game is meaningless as well. So I still expect I'm going to expect Hamilton still to come out on top and beat Saskatchewan's backups at least. And I do see them beating the Alouettes too in the Eastern semi.
Whoa! You're doing CFO Playoff Predictions already.
Oh, I thought that's what we were going into here. We weren't doing that yet.
I'm down with that. I can see Montreal actually beating Hamilton, but I wouldn't put my money on it. Hamilton, they're experienced. They went through heartbreak, not last season, but a couple seasons ago. A lot of that core is still there. So I think I'm with you. Whether Hamilton hosts it or not, I think Hamilton's moving on, and I think they're going to go to the Grey Cup, to be honest with you. I can't see Toronto stopping them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Toronto, it all depends on MBT, McLeod Bethel Thompson, and how he plays, and how many interceptions he throws. Because if he can do enough, Toronto's got the D to hang on and shut down Hamilton. But yeah, it'll be an interesting game. But if Hamilton can get to him and he starts throwing interceptions, it's game over for Toronto.
Yeah. If Toronto wants to win that final, we have listeners in Beijing. We have listeners in Frankfurt. We have listeners in Selkirk, Manitoba. We have them in Toronto. All you Toronto people, beg your team to get 1% of the population out to that game, please. 1%. That's all you need. And I think that'll be a huge factor if Toronto can get a home field advantage. You're already laughing at me. That's fine.
No, didn't they actually have a good crowd in their last home game? I thought they did.
Hamilton traveled and filled it up, I think,
maybe.
Didn't it?
Maybe.
I think that was a thing. I feel bad for Edmonton. I'm just going to mention that now. Shout out to Edmonton. 3 games in the last 7 days of the season. They got to make up for that COVID game in week 4, so it's kind of inevitable, but sorry. And they haven't won a game since Labor Day, bro.
They're all meaningless games too, right? Just let them go. just let them go home.
Yeah, just fill the roster with Canadians. Put all Canadians on there, let them play, and poor Edmonton. They're not going to be getting any hot dogs today, I don't think. You know where I'm going with this?
Where are you going?
I'm going to eat some hot dogs.
There you go.
We're going to go into that segment. Eat that hot dog. We got the Eat That Hot Dog music by producer Grimy. Eat that hot dog. I'm going to give a hot dog to Lewis Hamilton. Just such a dominant force at F1. I'm also going to shout out to a fellow Grenadian from the island where my parents are. So here's a Caribbean hot dog for Lewis Hamilton. A little bit of jerk spice on that. Nice. Yeah, man. Some callaloo on the top. Shout out to my Caribbean nation and Lewis Hamilton. Eat that hot dog. What do you got, bro?
I'm going to give out, one of those 7-Eleven dirty, filthy hot dogs. One that even probably rolled on the ground, but it was the last one there and you still want it. I'm going to give that to the Italian men's soccer team. for their performance in this World Cup qualifying campaign and their last few games where they managed to only tie Northern Ireland, the Swiss, tie against Bulgaria, and right now they did not get the qualifying spot for the World Cup for 2022 and now have to go into a playoff again. The honeymoon of that Euro Championship is already out the window.
You have any more hot dogs you want to get? Put any toppings on that?
No, nothing but filth for that one. That's the one with the Wonder Bread as your freaking bun too.
Oh, and you're gonna probably wipe the ground with that Wonder Bread before you put that hot dog in there.
Get some condiments there. That's where it's from.
Poor Italia. They'll come back. They're what? Still ranked number 4 in the world?
It doesn't mean much when you can't qualify for that World Cup, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh, bro. I'm not laughing at the situation. The anger is what I'm laughing at. Yeah. I'm going to give a hot dog to the University of Manitoba Bisons, who shellacked the University of Alberta, who is also situated in Edmonton, to move on to the Can West Finals. They're looking good. They are looking good, those U of M Bisons. So here's a hot dog to you. Give me a premium Jets dog with that like neon nuclear green relish on it. Nice. Yeah, they can have that hot dog, bro. They can eat that hot dog.
I'm going to give one out to Gage Alexander, the goalie of the Winnipeg Ice. Nice. We talked last week about the Ice's start to the season, and Gage has been a pretty big part of that. He ended up with goalie of the week honors in the WHL with his 1 goal against in over a couple games and .961 save percentage. So that's a great week for him. So he definitely gets a Jets dog as well there.
Shout out to the Winnipeg Ice. They are amazing. And it's like you mentioned their goalie. When they put their backup goalie in, you got a shutout.
Yeah.
It's crazy how good they are.
They're dominating that league right now.
Yeah, folks, get out to the Winnipeg Ice and go catch some games. You caught a game at the U of M campus. What's the environment like there?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a couple seasons ago, but it was definitely pretty cool being in there. It was a packed arena. So actually, we're going to a game in a couple weeks, I think, on a Sunday, next Sunday maybe, or a couple weeks Sundays. So be able to check that out again and see how it is. Right
on. Don't forget to get your tickets for the West Final. Bombers, they're almost selling that thing out on Defensive 5th, December 5th, Defensive 5th. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us again for Ray and Benny Talk Sports. We'll see you next week for episode 8. Benny, you have anything to say to the people?
Just have a good week. Go Jets, go, and go Canada, go, and we'll talk to you next week.
And in the words of Herman Edwards, you play to win the game. Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, both at Ray Benny Sports. Follow us, like us, send us some comments, tell us what you think.